Yeah, it all started when we were in the midst of the pandemic. And I remember I was on a Zoom call, one of my earlier Zoom calls, in the middle of it. And I remember there were about 10 people in there. And all of a sudden, one person started to freeze. Then the next person started to freeze. And before I knew it, everybody was frozen in motion. And I looked around the Zoom space thinking, wow, this is such a kind of eerie, comical, and almost a dark way of comical thing. And I thought, is this maybe a manifestation of our times where we're in the midst of trauma? People are getting hurt and psychologically and physically. And here we all were frozen on Zoom. So,
can you hear me? Okay, let me just make sure that, okay.
I began to wonder later on, is this a theme that we should consider exploring, the idea of being frozen in many ways, not simply the pandemic, but the political, and many things were happening at once. So that kind of led us on to the series of the Freeze series. Within the Freeze series is the question is, if we do become frozen, how can we unfreeze, defreeze? And when the challenges we see with the interaction of the character I play, Mort, and the therapist is, the therapists are confused. What's going on with this guy? He's not getting it.
And could you maybe tell me a little bit about how it feels like when you're experiencing that? Because it sounds like you maybe freeze a little bit. And could you tell me how does that feel like on the inside?
But it's not simply that. It might kind of indicate that there are limitations in therapy, in verbal therapy. It's not to say anything is wrong with it, but maybe there are other ways we can help people, not just verbally, and which leads us to explore music in the film series as a way to kind of defreeze. Maybe light comedy can help us to defreeze. But I think this always has been a challenge in the sciences. We have the fight or the flight response, right? And if the flight response doesn't work, we can become frozen. I also think about my lived experience, experiencing panic at a young age and thinking there was something wrong physically with me, not knowing that the trigger was deeper than the physical. It appeared as kind of somatic, we call somatic symptoms in the body. But the doctors couldn't figure it out. So it kind of led me to explore therapy and other ways of finding healing. So we hope the film series can kind of open up the dialogue on healing to a larger perspective than simply through words and solutions, because we learn that humanity has many layers to it. That kind of became this impetus where we started with the Freeze series. It was kind of very unusual in the sense that the day we happened to film was such a brutally cold day in Chicago. I can't even remember the temperature, but David's actually instrument froze, the trumpet, which we've never, he said he never experienced before. So it was literally a frozen moment for us. But I can remember that even though it was so cold, we did have a good time. And yeah, thanks to a member on our team said, hey, let's, maybe we should take a break. And that was just the right call. We took a break and got some warm drinks and we restarted again. But and that reminds me that, these film projects are really about really attuned to teamwork. When you have all the great ideas in your mind, some of them work, some of them won't work, and then you have nature, which we don't know what it'll be like that day. But once again, listening to the team and knowing when to pause, when to take a break and come back is a key for us. Kind of slowing things down.